Hello, I have come to talk about some work I've been doing with the IRC bridge module. I have created some scripts which effectively are a black box for the IRC bridge module and allows you to create names for your prims, your objects, and it guarantees that the prim identity that you give it is unique, and so individual objects can be addressed. Now the IRC bridge module allows you to send messages from one prim to another, which is great. We all want to have objects communicating with each other. This allows them to also communicate when they're in other regions, and you don't need to know their URL. You don't need to go to an external website to fetch that URL, and it doesn't. And also, it means that you can not use HTTP in on your local network, which is a security risk. So there are lots of advantages to using the IRC bridge, and we're going to go through a few of them. But this script it's a pair of scripts. One is a black box script, so you don't need to edit it. You just drop it in your prim. And the other one is the user script, and that will receive any messages intended for that particular prim, and enable that you to respond to that message in whichever manner you see fit, and to send messages across the network to a prim or a group of prims, or a group of prims filtered by region. And when I say group of prims, you can, because it's a domain style naming system, then you can give them various names and dot subname, and if you want to send data to any particular group or subgroup, you just replace that subgroup name with an asterisk, and it will go to all members of that group, and then any names following that will add filters to that. So if the last item is an asterisk, then it'll go to anything that follows, any subgroup or child of that group. So let's have a look at some of the things that we can do. So if we come over here, I want to show you this here. So on this sim, I've got this little black box. I've got a black box on every region that I own except for one, and it's a head counter. So what it does is when it receives a message from the server, it will count the number of avatars and NPCs in the region and return the result. It's as simple as that, and then the server can receive all the results from all the prims in all the different regions and then display the result. Now, how does this work in practice? Well, here's a user script, a blank one. So all you have to do is fill in the handle message. That's the only thing you have to do. It's as simple as that, and it's all working, right? So let's have a look at the one for the counter, and we'll look at the client side. So this is the same script but edited. Now we can see from here that the message type Well, the message consists of a type, and then the message itself, and then any data. And the data can be broken into various different parameters. So over here, what we've done is we first of all break the message up, then we look at the type. Now we're going to, if we look here, we've got the message type is in 3 parts. You've got the type, the message itself, and the data. And although I've called this variable message type, we're actually looking at the message itself because we're not interested in the first parameter, the type. Because we know that if the message type is request region info, which is a simple string, request region info, then that's going to be unique to this. So if we were to create another network, we might want to use that first parameter to identify the network that we're interacting with. And we'll have an example of that in a few moments. So what this does, it says, oh, it's a request for agent info, so let's get a list of the agents, work out how many NPCs are there, how many avatars, construct the message. So we just put message for the message type, the default, and then the actual message itself is an answer to the region info request, and then the parameters being the grid nickname, number of avatars, number of NPCs, and we just pass that back to the sender details. So the parameter that we received here in the sender details is the address of the sender. That's the region it was in and its domain address. So it absolutely and uniquely identifies that object. Now, when we drop the scripts into an object, it will try to communicate with the network, and the first thing it'll do is ask if there are any other objects with the same address, and if there are, then it will refuse to run and display a message saying why, and you then have to change the address to something unique and then reset the script. So we know it's a unique address on the network, so it works. And it will go back to that message. Now, every object that's attached to the IRC network is going to receive that message, but the black box script, because of this addressing system, is extremely efficient at filtering out any message not intended for that particular prim. So that's it in action. Let's see it. And now touch this prim here, and you can see in chat that it's received all the information, and it just takes a few moments to update the board because it has to draw the texture and then upload it. So as we can see, so there are 4 NPCs in Moss, 1 in Office, and 1 in Sandbox. 1 NPC in Sandbox, and 1 avatar in Westwich. Now Westwich, as you can see, is an OS grid, and that's another feature of the IRC bridge module. It is grid agnostic, so you can have objects talk to each other in different grids. Now, the only caveat is that you have to have control of all of those regions, because you need to configure the region.ini, the OpenSim.ini with the IRC module, the IRC bridge module configuration, and hopefully you're running your own IRC server, and which is an extremely lightweight thing to do, but you can block access to that server from outside your network with a simple firewall, and that makes it entirely private. So it's very fast, very secure, and it's as simple as that. And as you can see, I mean, if I do this again, you just see how quickly it pops up on the left-hand area of my screen as it gets the results in. Very, very fast. So let's have a look now at something slightly different and possibly more useful. This is my post office system. So as you can see, the bureau is empty at the moment. So let's pop over to the islands of Morse. Right, okay, so walk over the cat, why not? So here's my postbox. So I've entered a message. Hello world. Submit. And it tells us that one postcard has been delivered. Now, if we go to any other postbox, that'll also say one postcard has been delivered, because all the postboxes get updated at the same time, right? So they all know how many are available. Now, the message itself was delivered through the IRC network. The number of postcards was returned and broadcast to all the... So when we send a message, it goes only to the postbox, and every other object will ignore it, and then the central post office will broadcast a message to all of these little boxes saying how many postcards are sitting in the system waiting to be read. Now, so we're going to jump over to g.os grid. Yay! And have a look at a post box over there. So there it is, and as we can see, there is one postcard waiting to be delivered, and that's that's the OS grid version of my avatar. Here he goes, much younger and more handsome version of myself. There you go. Right, so let's deliver another one. Two postcards, and if we shoot off back home again, two postcards being delivered, and if we come back to the office, right, so now we can see it's all cluttered with mail waiting to be read. So let's touch that, gives me a folder with all the postcards. There's nothing there to be read anymore, so that disappears. And so this one was from Moss, and on Moss Grid, when it was posted, and the message was "Hello World," and the other one from I switch in OS Grid. This is the voice of the Mysterons. Captain Scarlet. Right, so it's as simple as that. A bit more useful. It means that you can deliver simple messages from one grid to another. We don't need that anymore. And that, as they say, is that. Thank you.